covered a lot of ground. I mean, all of a sudden we're talking Marlins and we're drinking Grimace shakes, and I mean, it's summer. It's listen, Bradley Beal, Dame Lillard, whatever else Pat Riley has in store. Trust me, they're not. This is the only thing I say. They're not doing it by the seat of their pants. So when you see Phoenix get Bradley Beal, and when you see what they're giving up in exchange, and you go, well, wait a second. He could have given that up. Like, he could have made a pretty attractive offer to get Bradley Beal. All I would say to you is this isn't by the seat of their pants. Pat Riley's been doing this for a long time, and obviously they had some parameters, and they had values assigned to Bradley Beal, and then they also probably had probabilities. Okay, maybe he is worth sweetening the deal, but if we sweeten the deal, we're absolutely out on Dame Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't sweeten the deal, we have a chance to get Dame Lillard in a package that we think we might be able to get him. Doesn't mean that they're going to get him. Doesn't mean that they'll be able to make it happen. But, we saw it, when they wanted to keep in the Giannis conversation. Who they not sign that year? Was it Jay Crowder that year, Solana?
Jay Crowder, yeah.
Right? And PJ Tucker. And listen, they're calculated in what they do. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're always going to drain the three, but they're calculated in what they do. So trust me, they either believe they have a legitimate chance at getting Dame Lillard, or they were never as interested in Bradley Beal as you all were. And I'm talking Heat Nation, not you and Solana, but everyone else that was so in love with Bradley Beal. Perhaps they weren't as in love with them as you were. So, and I wouldn't let it get to you.
And if you don't know Pat is playing chess and not checkers by now, I don't know what you're watching. Right. When this stuff hits Twitter and Instagram, Pat knew it 2 days ago. Yeah. He's in with Shams Charania is not getting a something over top of GMs in the NBA like that. So I'm with you. I think the panic always gets there because we know the moves are made, but trust Pat. This man knows what the hell he's doing.
And Pat Riley, again, tomorrow he's going to have his State of the Team address, but Ira Winderman points out, although Pat Riley is addressing the media Tuesday, keep in mind, he cannot discuss Damian Lillard. He's under contract with another team. He cannot discuss Bradley Beal. He's under contract with another team. And he cannot discuss plans for impending Heat free agents such as Max Strus or Gabe Vincent ahead of the negotiation period. Ira says the media session tomorrow is being cast as an end-of-season recap media availability. So they'll be talking about the season that was and the postseason and the NBA Finals. So that'll be Riley tomorrow.
Strus and Caleb and Gabe, I'm interested to see, because we're all assuming their value went up now that they showed out and did that, on that platform that they did in the playoffs. But I'm interested to see if it's $8 million or $15 million.
Well, Caleb's under contract, so they don't have to worry about him. Now, you could see what his value is if he's a major part of a trade deal. You might see what his value is. But Gabe and Max are going to be able to field whatever offers are out there. And it really will be interesting to see. Like, are you going to throw mad money at Max Strus or Gabe Vincent? Or are you going to, be of the line of thought of, well, listen, we've seen Matthew Dellavedova and others before shine bright hot in certain moments and never much again. So that's someone else's decision to make.
What do you guys consider too much for Damian Lillard? Is there anything other than Jimmy Bam? Is there anything you'd consider too much for Dame? Because some of the, just some of the speculation, obviously the Heat's 18th overall pick in this draft, right? If they were going to try to get it done by the NBA draft, plus 3 more unprotected first-round picks. So essentially that's 4 first-round picks, plus Jovic, who was a first-round pick last year. So you're up to like 4 first-round picks, plus a guy who you took in the first round, who the Heat covet, by the way. They like Jovic. They actually think there's a lot of upside there. And then Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, like you're willing to give up 4, maybe 5 first-round picks, a young guy with some promise, and then Tyler and Duncan for Damian Lillard?
I would be, yes.
Yeah, it's the win now. You're making a hell of a point, Solana. 5 picks, guys you picked in the past, guys you like, but there's a handful of names in the league right now that I would thumbs up, and Dame's one of them.
I mean, that dude, when he pulls up from just inside the half court marker and drains it like he's shooting an 8-footer, I mean, you can't tell me that that's not the piece that you're looking for. I know you want size, but man, you can't tell me that that's not the piece you're looking for.
Automatically becomes your clutch shooter.
Yeah. I mean, he's your go-to scorer.
Yep.
This whole
and you get to see him finally in, a winning culture, winning organization, and see if he's just a points and numbers and stats machine, or if he is the key piece to a championship. Because you put Dame on that Heat team, like, you could take away Tyler and you could take away Duncan and lose Max Strus. And I mean, you put Dame with Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Caleb Martin, you'll have him under contract. I don't know who else. Like, yeah, I'm pretty confident with that team.
I'm with you, by the way, on the size. Like, I want the Heat to get bigger. I'm cool with that. But this whole notion that they have to bring in a center, we know what's going to end up happening, even if they go out and get a center. Bam Adebayo is going to play the 5 in the most important minutes of every game. So I'm not so, like, hard-pressed on this notion that they have to put a true center next to Bam Adebayo. It's so ridiculous. Like, Coach Spo has shown us time and time again. Crunch time, minutes you need a win, Bam's your 5. So, enough with that. Go get Dame Lillard. Go get a scorer. That's what this team needs, a scorer. And he's everything and more when it comes to scoring.
I'm with you. We don't need a big lumbering center. We don't need George Mirasan. But I think Bam needs a lot more help in the damn paint, man, because we get out rebounded. Repeat. It's funny. Are we just talking about the playoffs? Or are we talking about, because there was a lot of deficiencies in the season that didn't show its face in the playoffs, and you would argue that the playoffs are more important.
That's the super important question that Riley and Spo and the rest of the Brain Trust have to answer. Because, for me, it's a little bit similar. I talked about it before. What was the season? It was 41 wins in the second half or so. Like, what was the
31 and 11? They started 11 and 31. And
they had to make a decision. Was the first half of the season more representative of who the team really was, or was the second half? And I don't think they made the right decision then, right? Because didn't they keep it all together, essentially? It was Dion Waiters. And
they re-signed Dion Waiters and James Johnson. I think Tyler Johnson was a part of that team too, where he was a restricted free agent. Yeah. Brooklyn offered him $50 million and they ended up paying him. But I do think that part of that was the Heat anticipating those deals, the 2-year deals, $10 million, $12 million each for James Johnson and Dion Waiters, would be easily moved because they were short-term deals and the guys would be expiring after the first year. So I do, like, a lot of people took that take, which was the Heat fell into 31 and 11 and they bought into that team. And I don't necessarily think that's true. I think a lot like this or last offseason, they had motives to go out and land big-time players. They just couldn't. LaMarcus Aldridge, Kevin Durant back then as well. They just weren't able to bring those guys in. So they were forced to kind of build from within and pay their own guys.
But there are some similarities to this season, because you have to decide if the regular season was more representative of who this team is, or if the postseason run was. And I don't know. Postseason run may have just been a wild aberration. And the postseason run may have been truly who they are. But they have to make a decision. And if they believe that postseason run, it was great and we loved it, but that is not how we're constructed. Like, that shouldn't have been that. Then there's wholesale changes. But if they really think that, hey, no, like, we've got this thing almost done, you don't have to make wholesale changes. And so I would say, to that point, while Dame Lillard would be great, if you think you're just a couple games away, maybe just a big away from being able to dethrone Denver, then you don't have to give up 5 number ones. You know what I mean? You don't have to give away everything, because maybe you're closer than you think you are.
And to answer, is it too much, especially the players, Solana? I would say what guys, because we know Duncan had the 10-point fourth quarter. We know Gabe Vincent had, 26 points in one of those playoff games. Like, each one of them had a window where they were impressive. But the Heat could not have won the East without this player. I think Jimmy and Bam are the only two on that list.
Right, which is why I don't think, like how Hoch's saying, they have to make a decision. I don't think there's any decision to be made. I think it's pretty clear. They're close. They need one more big piece. I don't think there's a decision to be made. I think that's clear as day. They have to go add another superstar or another star caliber player who can score and alleviate some of that from Jimmy. And they have the core with Jimmy and Bam. That's why I'm saying,
all I'm saying is this: it's really convenient to say that because you're not Nick Arison, okay? So now you're in the room with Pat Riley and Mickey Arison, and then there's Spo and Nick Arison. And they say, yeah. Let's give away everything. 5 number ones, essentially. Tyler, Duncan, whoever else they want, because we're going to put Dame Lillard on this team. I'm Nick Arison, and I'm going, wait a second. I think I'm probably going to be running things here in a couple of seasons. Are you sure that you want to leave me barren cupboards? Because you're certain that this is good. That's all I'm saying. There's another voice in that room. If I'm Mickey Arison, Pat Riley, whatever it takes, I'm with you. But I'm not concerned about 3 years down the line. And again, I don't know how long Riley's going to stay and how long Mickey is really going to run things. I kind of feel like they're kind of a 1-2 punch. I kind of feel like when Pat walks away, maybe Mickey hands the stewardship to Nick, and there's kind of a new regime. So I'm just saying there's probably another voice in the room that says, are you sure that, we are pushing all the chips in, right? And when you do that, when you go all in and it is a big hand of poker, deep stakes, when you push it all in, you better damn well sure that you've got the winning hand. And you can obviously with this stuff, you can never be 100% certain, because I would have pushed it all in for KD and Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving.
We know we have to get better. How does that happen without putting the future on the line? To your point, there's some old guys in that room and some young guys. Young guys think bigger picture than old guys, because old guys are going to be around that long.
Right.
But they're this close. Like, Hoch, if they had lost in the Eastern Conference Finals again this year, or if they had lost in the first round of Milwaukee, I'm with you, right? You seriously question, do we actually have enough? And is this one trade piece where we essentially handicap our future for right now? Is it worth it? Because, we lost in the first round, one finals appearance in 4 years. Like, then you really start to consider everything. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, everything. Man, they're this close. Like, look, 2 finals appearances with Jimmy and Bam and a young Tyler. Like, they're there. They need that one more player. And you're telling me Pat Riley's going to let, Nick Arison keep him from going all in on that one last thing? Like, he smells the blood in the water.
No, I'm not telling you that that's going to happen. And I'm all for giving up whatever it takes to get Dame Lillard. Like, I think he's the missing piece. I'm just saying I don't think it's as cut and dry as maybe you're making it out to be, because you're seeing it in Minnesota, right? Like, Minnesota.
Yeah, but Damian Lillard and Rudy Gobert are 2 very different players.
I got you, except that you've never seen Damian Lillard really have postseason success, but the one season.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, he puts up great numbers. There's no question.
But he's not Carmelo Anthony or James Harden in the playoffs. Like,
I got you.
The dude has a laundry list of clutch moments in the playoffs.
I love roster, him. You don't have to talk me into him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, his roster his teams have always been less talented outside of him, and whether it was LaMarcus Aldridge or CJ McCollum, and part of that was because of bad front office decisions by Portland, constantly signing guys to contracts that they didn't deserve, and he was put in that situation because of poor front office decisions.
But Solana, we've got caught up in that about other teams. The Brooklyn, KD, Ben Simmons thing, they were terrible. You got, the OKC. It's KD a part of a lot of these damn teams I'm gonna bring up, but the OKC,
but they
KD,
weren't
and them.
terrible. They were.
Brooklyn was terrible.
They got to the semifinals 2 seasons ago. Kevin Durant carries them there. Harden's on one leg. Kyrie's not even playing. Like, had they been healthy, we'd be having a different discussion. And I get it. They weren't. Like, I totally understand. And then the following season, it all totally went up in flames and Harden asked out. But that had more to do with, like, personalities.
Well, that's why it was terrible, though.
Yeah, and the personality. But to the point of we really don't know. And we think we do. It looks great on paper. We don't know what Bam, Jimmy, and Dame are going to look like playing together. We don't know how that offense is structured. Who's really going to take over? Like, we don't know that. So
I do.
It sounds
no.
amazing.
Nah, brother.
Wait a second. I do. You were saying it about Bradley Beal.
I know how it looks. It looks like Pat Riley smoking a cigar next June, holding the Larry O'Brien. I know exactly how that looks.
I happen to be of that belief. I believe if you add Dame Lillard to this Heat team, they're a championship team. I do. Again, I don't have to stake everything on it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I said DeMar DeRozan was better than Jimmy Butler before the postseason started. So I could say whatever I want. There's no repercussions for me.
But the repercussions for Minnesota, everybody's saying, what the hell are you thinking giving that up for Rudy Gobert, right? But it's Rudy Gobert. If the Heat end up doing the 4 first-rounders plus Jovic plus Tyler, and they go out, they get Dame Lillard, and it doesn't work. They don't win a title, right? 3 years, 4 years from now, and then they're suffering the consequences of that. Are any of us going to sit here and say, what a dumb move by the Miami Heat? I don't think so.
Absolutely it'll happen. Nobody, you could have said that before Brooklyn. Is anyone going to say that Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie Irving, even if it doesn't end up in a championship, is anyone going to say this was the wrong thing to do? And there's a cottage industry of people saying that was the wrong thing to do.
It's a good point.
We absolutely will do that. Let's do headlines. We didn't do headlines, did we?
No.
All right, let's do quick headlines here with Alejandro Solana.
Talked a little too much sports there. I mean, where's the grimace shake? You threw him out already?
Almost seems like we care about what's going on in sports.
We can call up sometimes.
Somebody DM me. We have Yurtsevin. We're good. Go get Dame. Now we're talking, baby.
Big. We got a big. Same guy texted you. We've got Dwayne Dedman. 3 years ago, he texted you. We have what's his name?
Hassan Whiteside.
Hassan Whiteside. I couldn't get Tito Horford out of my head for some reason.
You love Tito Horford.
I do love Tito Horford.